Izuku was waiting for you. He was thinking, what's keeping Phoenix so long? I hope she isn't in any trouble. Just as he thought that, you came out. With your sad eyes. You look like that you were about to cry. He ran over to you and said, Phoenix, what's wrong? He exclaimed, very worried. You sighed and walked off. You didn't want to talk about it. It was more like family troubles. After all, your father never gave you a chance to really express how you felt. Due to having a flaming quirk, you were more like Shoto, but you were less of a confident hero. You're actually in the education part of UA. You never wanted to be a hero. Well, at least that's what you thought. You've always wanted to be a hero ever since your mother died. But you never talked about your mother. Izuku ran after you, trying to keep up before grabbing you and hugging you close, and asked, What's going on? Please, stop hiding from me. Tears rolled down your face as you looked at Izuku. I'm sorry. I just found out my father became a villain. We can't date if he's there. I don't want anything happening to us. Nothing more than what's already been happening. Izuku told you that there's nothing to worry about. As long as I'm with you, I will protect you. That made your heart soften a bit. But you guys continued on the way home. You decided to ask Izuku if you could stay a night, not knowing that his mother wouldn't like it. But she was fairly nice about it. She understood how it's like with a single parent having troubles with taking care of their children. So you set yourself up on the couch. As you did so, Izuku brought out some movies. You told him that we should probably go to sleep, but he said, No, Phoenix, come on, it'll be fun. You refused still shaken up from what had happened. That's when the lights went out. Everything was dark. All you could see was nothing. You used your quirk to create a fire. Your eyes looked towards Izuku, and he said, Let's go look for a flashlight. You nodded and walked beside Izuku to the storage, but you were scared because this was the first time you've actually felt fear since the League of Villains attacked. So you left to go talk to your mother and try to call your father, but he wouldn't pick up because he's always busy. Work always came before you. You hated that. So you decided to leave the house. Izuku ran after you and said, I found the flashlights. Please don't go, Phoenix. You sighed and agreed to stay. But it hurt you more that you couldn't believe that you were falling in love with Izuku Midoriya. That's when you stopped and said, Izuku? He looked towards you with a smile and said, Don't worry, I'll protect you. You smiled and said, "That's not what I was talking about. Izuku, I loved you since the day we met." Izuku blushed a bright red. He didn't realize that you had just confessed to him. You smiled, hoping that he accepts. That's when he grabbed you and kissed you on the forehead and said, "Phoenix, I love you too. And no matter what happens, I'll always protect you." That made you feel more safe and protected. I wish you could know how I really felt about Bakugo always doing that, you thought. As soon as you went to Izuku's room, you saw all the All Might stuff. You chuckled as Izuku said, "Sorry for bringing all this All Might merch up. You probably think I'm a dork." You giggled and said, "Izuku, I'm an All Might fan, so I know how it is." You didn't want to freak out, but you coughed, knowing that it was a lot of trouble. You couldn't keep up with what was happening. Your vision was blurring as you were crying. You couldn't help but think, why did he ask me to come here and I just confessed my love and he likes me back? And his mom let me in and the power went out. What does he see in me? You always thought that. Izuku looked towards you, frowning, while grabbing one of your cheeks, and said, "Don't lose focus. Here, sit down on my bed. I'll get some blankets." You nodded and sat down. You were more scared than ever, because you were all alone, like you always were as a child. That's when you heard some tussling. It was blankets. They were so warm. Izuku said, "That should keep us warm. After all, the heater's off, and it's very cold inside my room." You were happy that you had such a caring friend. Or should I say, boyfriend. You hoped that nothing would come between you two. Not even Bakugo came into your minds. Until Miss Midoriya walked into the room and said, "Izuku, well, Shoto, Ida, and Ochako are here with Suyu-chan." He was surprised that they would come here at such short notice. Shoto walked into the room and said, "Oh, I didn't know Phoenix was going to study with us." Suyu was a bit surprised and said,
"Ooh, are you two having a date?" Hook!
Then came along Ochako, who was a bit jealous before saying, "Oh man, you were right! Suyu, they were gonna get together!" Ida, the responsible one, was scolding Izuku, saying, "You better not get her pregnant. You know we're still in high school, and she's in the education program." You were laughing your butt off because this was the first time you seen that Izuku's friends were scolding him or were surprised that you were here. Before you said, "You know, Izuku, I don't think Katsuki ever knew that we were childhood friends once. He remembered that day when you had to leave. He was scared because he didn't want you leaving ever again, and said, "Please never leave again. I don't want to be alone with Kachan." And you smiled softly, saying, "I'm not going anywhere. Not for a long time, anyways." But one thing lingers in my mind. How did I get such great friends, and I'm still friends with Bakugo, too? Everyone laughed at the moments that you scolded Bakugo, or used the nuclear option. So then Shoto asked, "Well, what about the nuclear option on Bakugo?" You were a bit surprised that he asked that, before you said, "The nuclear option, I only use it when Bakugo goes too far during a fight. I only use it because I feared that he would kill somebody. So I use that option mainly when he goes too far in fights, like in the sports festival. I never want him to hurt anybody that bad, but if it's a villain, I will never use it. But I hope we're all great friends to the end." Until Izuku cut you off when you were about to say friends. He kissed you soft and gently. You were surprised that Izuku would do such a bold move before you kissed back. You always thought that maybe my romance was going to be a great one with Izuku. You hoped that he wouldn't leave you just like your old friends did. But he made a promise to you. And the next day at school, it was a frightening one. Shinzo was arguing with the other students in the Department of Education. But when you walked in, everything fell silent. All eyes were on you. Today was the day that you guys had to talk about a Valentine's Day dance. You didn't want to do a dance, but they all convinced you to do it. So you said, "On Valentine's Day, we should all do it." I mean, Valentine's Day is the day of love, but I never liked it because I always felt alone. I know who to go with, and that's Izuku. Shinzo out there teasing you and said, "Maybe you should ask him." You were freaking out like Izuku and muttering, "Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no." You were scared, to say the least, but then Class 1A walked in. They were like, "Ooh, so when's the wedding?" Mina was a bit excessive and said, "Ooh, maybe we should have everything pink." You giggled and said, "Mina, it's Valentine's Day. It's a Valentine's Day dance. We should all do something with a bit more pizzazz. Like, make the decorations and everything, including white snow." You didn't like the idea, but at least you aren't alone and you've got Izuku by your side. Forever with him. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed it. It was my first Izuku, aka Deku X Listener. If you want more, like and comment down below. See ya!